For today's activity, you will be translating shapes. Follow the rules to translate and then work on the practice problems. I'm going to go through this lesson with you guys on this video and then have you work on some practice problems on your own. Please take notes and follow along as I go through the video. So first up, part 1. What is a translation? A translation describes how a figure in a coordinate plane is slid from one place to another. The word slid means moved. How is something moved from one place to another? So for example, in this picture to the right, I've got triangle DEF, and it's being moved 5 units to the right. So this shape is being moved 5 units to the right to become this shape. We shifted it to the right. Notice on this triangle there are different symbols on D, E, and F. This is called D prime, E prime, and F prime. That symbol, the apostrophe symbol, means prime, and it helps to distinguish the original shape from the transformed one. So here's where we started, and here's where we ended up. So I moved this space, this point, 5 units to the right. Same thing with F, and same thing with E. So we're going to work on translating shapes, but we have to plot them first onto our coordinate planes. It's important to remember that the new shape should have a prime symbol so we understand which was the original and which one is the one that moved. So let's take a look at the bottom. Let me slide up the paper. Alright, so we slid up the paper so we can work on the bottom half of our activity. We're going to translate the following shape as indicated, list the coordinates of the pre-image, and then we're going to figure out the coordinates for the post-image. So we first are going to plot and label the coordinates that are listed below, and then we're going to connect the points. After that, we're going to translate the units 7 to the left and 1 up, and then we're going to see what happens to the coordinates. So I'm going to start with point A. If I start at A, it's 2, 1. So I'm going to go over to 2 and up to 1. That's point A. B is at 2, 4. And C is at 5, 3. So here's our triangle. So what it says is to take each point and move it 7 units to the left and 1 unit up. So I'm going to start at B. I'm going to count 7 spaces to the left and then 1 unit up. So starting at B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1 unit up. That is B prime, because that's how I shifted B from that position to this new position. Do the same thing for A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and up 1. A prime. And then for C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and up 1. C prime. Connect the dots. If we did it correctly, we should see the same shape, and I do. And this is the new shape because I have the prime symbols on there. So now I need to figure out the coordinates. For my A prime is located at -5, 2. So A prime is -5, 2. B prime is at -5, 5. And C prime is at -2, 4. So what do you notice? Compare from this position to this position. Let's take a look at our x values. So our x values are the values in the first position. So it's my 2, my 2, my 5. Let's compare them to this one. I went 7 units to the left. So how did I do that, and how did that affect the coordinates? Well, starting at 2 and going to -5 is 7 units subtracted from 2, right? 2 minus 7 is -5. Same thing here. 2 minus 7 is -5, and 5 minus 7 is -2. So if I take my x values and subtract 7, that moves to the left. So subtracting from x values moves left. Compare that to the y values. Here are my y values. It's the second position in the coordinate. And let's compare. I started at 1 and I moved up to 2. Started at 4 and I moved up to 5. Started at 3 and I moved up to 4. My translation was 1 unit up, so it looks like all I'm doing is adding 1 to each of these numbers. So when you're moving up, let me separate these. When you move up, you're going to add to the y values. So add to the y values to move up. Okay, let's take a look at the other problem on the next page. See if it'll fit right there, and it does. Same idea. This time though, we're going to have to name our points. So I'm going to name this D, E, and F. I'll plot them, -3, 3, -3, 6, and 2, 3. Almost went to -2. It should be +2, 3. Here's my triangle. So now I'm going to translate it 8 units down and 4 units to the right. So I'm going to do the same thing. Starting from each coordinate, I'm going to do the translations as it indicates. Starting at F, I'm going to go down 8 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 4 units to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's F prime. Starting at D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 4 units to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. D prime. And now E, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. E prime. If I did this right, I should see a triangle that looks exactly the same as the one above. And it does. So let's get those coordinates. D prime is at 1, -5. E prime is at 1, -2. And F prime is at 6, -5. We'll do the same thing. Let's look at our x values. So these were our x values. And these are the new x values after our translations. It says we went 4 units to the right. So I'm adding 4, it looks like. So if I start at -3 and I go 4 units to the right, I'm adding 4. Because -3 plus 4 is 1. -3 plus 4 is 1. 2 plus 4 gives me 6. For my y values, I went down 8, and it looks like going down is subtracting. Because I start at 3 and I go down to -5. So 3 minus 8 is -5. 6 minus 8 is -2. And 3 minus 8 is -5. So similar kind of pattern we see here. Moving down means you subtract the y from y values. And then moving to the right means you add. Add to x values. Okay. So those are some rules you can use to help you if you like the rules. If you don't want to use the rules, you don't have to. You can just count the spaces and you still will get the translation. So here's a little summary for us to do together. What happens if my preimage is at x, y and I move up? Well, when we said when you move up, wasn't on this problem, it was on this problem. Moving up means you add to the y value. So the x value doesn't do anything. The x value stays the same, and the y value is increased. I'm going to say y plus c, and c will just be some number that we'd be moving up. To go down, here we said moving down means you just take away. So the x value stays the same and the y value subtracts. To move to the left, we said you subtract from your x values. So I would just say x minus something to move to the left, and the y doesn't change. And moving to the right, you add to your x values. So x plus some number, and y stays the same. Okay, so I have some practice problems for you to work on. Please work on those and check in with Mr. DeFelice to see what you can work on next after you finish those practice problems. Good luck.